Yo, yo, yo. I've been preparing for this video way too long, so I'm just going to jump right into it. Welcome back to the channel. Hey, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. We do technical analysis multiple times a week. This is a Sunday video preparing for the week. Some things that I'm going to be looking for, some signals perhaps, that'll determine my thought on direction for the market. The best way to support the channel is by watching all the way until the end. Commenting your thoughts below and leaving a like on the video. Also, you can share this with your friends if they're interested in markets. All right, let's get right into it. So, a few things to go over. We're going to look at some macro stuff. We're going to look at the macro market. We're going to look at, particularly SPX, ES1. We're going to look at SPY as well. And just kind of come to a conclusion on that as to what we think the market's going to do in the coming week and weeks. We're also going to look at crypto, and we're going to look at memes. So let's take a look. First, we can look at this ES1 chart. Which is obviously just futures on SPX. We're going to look at SPX as well because I have a more macro chart drawn out there, and we're going to look at SPY. To prepare you there. So let's take a look. First, I want to look at SPX actually. So SPX, if you guys remember from a few videos ago, I told you guys that I drew out, basically I put all these simple moving averages, and I did like the daily, weekly, monthly, daily, weekly, monthly for the 200, 50, 9, and 21 moving averages. And so obviously it looks like a bunch of squiggly lines, but I highlighted two of them, which are the, I believe the 9 week. Let's see. Let me click it here, select it. Maybe I gotta zoom in here. It's a bright purple one. Yeah, so 9 week and the 21 week. Okay, so 9 week is purple. 21 week is teal, highlighted there. I want to look at these because I think that they correlate pretty well with what we could see a move look like on SPX, which obviously impacts the entire market, especially SPY and ES1, depending on if you're trading futures or if you're trading options. So obviously what this is looking like now is that you've broken out of this rising wedge, right? And it's possible that you see a retest, right? So it could look something like this, where you come back up, test here, and then fail, and complete a distribution there. I think it's very unlikely that you just kind of turn back around and you break right through this bear trend that we've had since December, okay? I think that's highly unlikely. What I think is more likely is that you trade back down, and then we'll be able to see what's going to occur from there. But I think that in the short term, it's very likely that you trade back down here in this way. Now, this zone that I have highlighted in red here, this horizontal zone that I have highlighted in red, is obviously the most recent liquidity area that you traded sideways in, you reaccumulated in. Also, back here, you had a distribution in June of 2022. And this was the last like sell-off, right? You got sold out of here in May of 2022. You came back, retested, failed, came back, retested, and failed again before you had your big dump down to 36.42 on SPX here, which was the local bottom, right? So this is a key region. You reaccumulated through here. You're going to come back and test this again, okay? You've played around in this zone for a long time. And from here, it's going to be really big decision-making time because you're probably going to consolidate like you've seen before. And if you break up here again, you could have a good likelihood that you actually break through this bear trend, okay? Or, alternatively, if you trade in here again and then you fail, right, you'll probably come and test this downtrend here. I mean, uptrend, I'm sorry, downtrend. It's clearly up, Dave. I'm looking at the screen. You're saying it's a downtrend. It's going up. Excuse me. That joke was so funny. I almost killed myself laughing. Why is this trend like this all of a sudden? And so we're going to look for correlation on fibs here. Look at that. A nice 618 there. On pretty well correlated with this move here. So It's all dependent on what happens once you trade down into this region, but I do think that trading into this 410 to 420 range essentially is what it would look like on SPY, right? 4100 to 4200 ish on SPX and ES1. I think that that's pretty likely. And if you see the correlation with these EMAs that I have highlighted, right? These are key EMAs. Again, the 9-week and the 21-week. You're going to see also that these act as support and resistance. And perhaps it gives this 9-week some time to catch up over the course of the next few weeks, right? So what that looks like is, like I was showing, some consolidation occurs. Meanwhile, let's see if we can make it look like this EMA is continuing with this brush. Meanwhile, this 9-week EMA is kind of catching up in this way, right? So maybe it slows down, maybe it picks back up again, boom. And then you can hold it as support in that fashion. Look at that, dude. I mean, tell me where it starts and ends. Don't look at that little thing there, okay? I mean, I'm a true professional, let's be honest. All right, so so longer term, right? So I'm definitely expecting this rejection down in the coming week or two, right? So what does that mean? That doesn't mean tomorrow that you open 0 DTE options for 410 SPY, right? What that means is you're looking for a key rejection, right? You're looking for a key level break, right? Dave, what do you mean key level break? I don't know what that means. All right, so if you don't know what that means, that's fine. I'm gonna draw it out for you. So this obviously is a key level of support and resistance. You came back and retested before you had this little rocket ship that you had up to the local high. If you break this 420-ish region here, right, a retest is probably a good time to enter something that is short with a stop loss just above, right? So I'll just draw a little line here. That would be your stop. So if you come up and you hit 422 or 23 on SPY and you're in options, for example, right? You entered at 420, 422 or so. You're probably going to lose, depending on how much time it takes to hit your stop, you're probably going to lose like 10% maybe. But you have the ability here to get a pretty good explosive move to the downside, right? And again, like 0 DTE it's really hard to time when the market is gonna like really collapse, right? Because I have this drawn in this way, and this is a good likelihood, but you could also see it kind of just fiddle around here and then theta you to death before it makes its move down, right? So just be careful with that. But that's just an example of how you would go about it. Always be managing your risk. If you're not managing risk, then you're just going to lose all your money. So then what happens, Dave? Tell me the story of what else could potentially happen. I'm a big bear. If you're a big bear, I'm in your shoes right now, okay? If you're a big bear, what you want to see happen, right? You want to see the world end. Obviously, the consolidation is going to happen here. You test this 9 EMA in this fashion, perhaps. It's going to be all boring and stuff. Boom, speculation, boom. You break here, boom. You're probably going to consolidate from here. And then, look, let's draw a fib here to get a better idea of what the levels might look like. So that's your 0.5. All this stuff, dude. Like, you see how, isn't that weird how it just kind of, that trend line just happens to correlate here? Like, that stuff's not an accident. This is how the things work. So you can continue to consolidate up here, and then maybe you fail again, right? Now you're down to this golden pocket region. You consolidate here. Boom, you're going to test your 707. I'm telling you now, if you hit your 707, you're probably going to bounce up. And then you break through. Okay. Oh, and then you do like some crazy stuff. Apparently, that's what happens next, right? Man, I'm a wizard. So let's see. Boom. Let's just do that for example. Okay. So then you get sent down here. Now you're testing the pretty much the lows, right? Let me see if I can fade this a little bit so it's not so bright. Oh no, dude. See, I wish that I could leave it the way that it is and not have to. I guess I can just do one color for the purposes here. I don't care about the trend line. Oh my god. Oh, use one color. There you go. That's what I wanted to do. All right. So that's basically like I mean, geez, this looks terrible now. Now that I'm looking back at it, but you get the idea, dude. That's how the market works. You guys know what you get it. All right. So anyway, I mean, I'm not going to redraw the whole thing. Hopefully you get the idea on SPY. Normally, if you look at SPX and you're charting SPX, which just has more charting data to go off of, like price action-wise, it'll correlate with ES1. It'll correlate with, not GME, SPY in the same way. I will say that SPY does kind of look like you gap down out of this rising wedge, and you haven't had a retest yet. So you could see just like an explosive move up first before you break back down. And that's not because SPY is special, but usually if you like are reading the tea leaves, it'll give you that sort of information. So let's take a look at crypto here. Bitcoin, I have a fib drawn from here, which was the local like double bottom at 18,926. This dashed line here is the high from 2017. I'll make it nice and thick for you so you know that it's there. I guess I'll make it like kind of a boring color. But 1965 was that. That's the 885 on this fib retracement that we have drawn here, ironically. So right now, what's happening with Bitcoin is you have this local uptrend that you developed here with in green. Going into this Fibonacci, you double bottomed at this 707 level, and you kind of have bounced in this golden pocket before you broke through here. I am expecting you to continue upwards here, at least test 22,000 before you come back to retest this downtrend. That would be my local expectation. Let me look at a shorter term chart just to get a better idea and see if we're wedging in here. You had this really weird candle while I was preparing for the video where like you just rocketed up all of a sudden. A ton of volume came in on this 1 minute candle, and maybe it was to break or confirm a certain pattern, but you look like you're pretty much channeling here. So yeah, that's pretty much correlated with what I believe is going to happen. You're just going to kind of continue to trade up at least until you get to 22,000. I did enter long here whenever we tested. I'm sorry, let me see when I would have entered long here. Right when we retested this downtrend, this uptrend. So again with the down and uptrends, I entered here at the 6.5. Was at a loss here, but now I'm still sitting in those longs. I'm up like it's like a 5x long, so I'm only up like 10 or probably 15% now. But I'm holding that, and I'm probably going to exit here at 22,000, and then probably like some at 22,000, and then I'll probably have like a stop set at 21.6 or so, right, to close up this 15% once we break higher. So that's pretty much my plan with Bitcoin. And then from there, we're just going to kind of read it, see if we start to look like a distribution. I think you could have a good short opportunity back down to this this bull trend. I don't think that you're going to go as deep as the 2017 high again, at least in the short term. But I mean, I do see it as a fib retracement on this level. So I mean, these sorts of things don't happen by accident, so maybe eventually you could get back down there. But I'm just playing this market day by day. I don't have like an incredibly biased position right now in Bitcoin or Ethereum. Let's just look at Ethereum briefly here. You see Ethereum bounced off of this 0.5 Fibonacci retracement. Last time that we updated on Ethereum, remember, I was looking at this uptrend, and I saw it trading at the bottom of this trend like this, and I was like, yeah, that's not really good. You're going to want to see it break up for bulls, right? And what happened? You got rejected off of it, and you absolutely tanked your butt off. So just looking at something like that, if the way that you would have been able to like take advantage of this move, which was 18%, if you're trading futures on that with 5x leverage, that's 100%, right? That's a huge move, and I did not take advantage of that, full disclosure. But what you could have done is you could have said, okay, look, you had a local double bottom here that occurred, right? Boom, boom. By the time that we were making the video, you're probably trading in this region around 1850. You're kind of retesting it, that level. you would have pulled a Fibonacci retracement like backwards here. You're testing this 236. If you don't see bullish volume come in, right? See how you had this spike in bearish volume here? Probably look, really that's what it is. Once you trade through here, if I would have been paying attention, it's probably happened in the middle of the night. That's another thing about crypto is that all the big moves happen in the middle of the night. You wake up and you're like, ah, shit. So, but look, what you could have done is, like I use KuCoin, and in KuCoin, what you could have done is, you could have said, okay, if you know what, I think that if this thing fails here and then it gets down to 1818 again, right? So, and it breaks 1818, right? That key level that it had before, you break 1818, I'm going to jump in short, 5x leverage, 1810, right? You get to 1810, I want to enter short. You would have caught this move here, right? And then you could basically just say, I want a stop loss of 10%, basically. You would have never met your stop loss on that. Pretty much on any leverage. I mean, unless you're like 100x or something, which is just stupid and you shouldn't do anyway. But so that's pretty much where Ethereum's at. I think that you're probably going to bounce up here with Ethereum. Maybe test this 1800 level again. And then we'll see where the volume's at. The only reason that I think that you're going to jump up here, this looks like a terminal shakeout, like a accumulation look for sure. And I think that you're at least going to bounce up here before you see further downside. But I do think that this retracement is most likely to continue after you see that that relief rally. So how does that correlate with Bitcoin? Yeah, probably Bitcoin. You could probably press up here to I mean, you could press all the way up to like 23,000 here, but I do think that you'd probably see some continuation back down here, at least to retest this uptrend here. So that's pretty much where I'm at with that. Let's look at AMC. I know that's what most of you guys are here for. AMC, obviously, you guys have probably seen a lot about the abandoned baby pattern. I do think that that is a valuable thing to be watching. You came right off of this 707 here. The local 707 is where your abandoned baby is sitting on the daily chart. You're just sitting right above it, underneath the golden pocket. And you have this sort of falling wedge look. It is relatively hard to the downside compared to like most falling wedges, especially for AMC. But if that abandoned baby does play out tomorrow, you could have a big break, and you're at least going to break to $21 if that plays out. If you gap up tomorrow, going into Monday, if you gap up, you're going to hit 21 pretty freaking quick on this, and that is a reversal type pattern. Just air a caution though. If you don't have a gap up, like if you're not opening, if you don't open above $18, then you probably just continue to dump, and you at least come back and test this 1675 level before you probably have some consolidation. And I'm not trying to be like an ugly bear or anything like that, but like AMC loves 786s. We all know that, but that's what you would require at that point. That's just how I see it at this stage in the game. So you definitely want to see a gap up. You want to see AMC opening at around $18 probably. 1850 would be pretty ideal. If you do that, you're going to slap 21 pretty quick. And if you can slap 21 pretty quick, you're breaking through this downtrend. You could see some upside continuation, but it all depends on how that pattern plays out. I will say, let's take a look at the weekly. I think I remember something relevant from the weekly. Didn't prepare in the video. So, yeah, like you obviously had this sort of like this is actually a candlestick pattern in itself, but I can't remember the exact name of it right now. It's like a hanging man, right? No, I think a hanging man has like a hammer at the top, right? Yeah, hanging man is like a hammer. But anyway, regardless, right? You have this big FU bull candle. And then you follow up, and I actually said this in my group text with Rico and Colin and Trey Hill. I was like, I really don't like this weekly candle. Like, short term, I really don't like this. and I should have stuck with that conviction. But once we started to consolidate up here and build this kind of ascending triangle look, I was like, well, maybe I'm wrong, you know. But if I would have stuck with my original conviction, then I would have freaking nailed this thing, because I really hated that weekly candle. I really did. But now, I mean, I feel like you've kind of washed out what you need to wash out on the weekly chart. It is unfortunate that you've kind of drawn back underneath this bear trend that we were pretty happy about breaking before, and you're pretty much back underneath it no matter how you look at the chart. So yeah, I mean, you definitely want to see some action to the upside for AMC. What's the worst case scenario though? So let's just be big bears here for a little while. I mean, if you go off of weekly closes, you kind of can make the case that you've retested this version of the downtrend. So there is hope there. Let's do worst case stuff, and then we'll wrap the video there. Probably. I've been talking for a little while, I feel like. Yeah, 20 minutes. So we'll wrap the video after we do some worst case scenario stuff. After we throw some FUD around, you know what I'm saying? Let's see. So Amy loves 786s, right? So the worst case scenario, I'd say, man, 1350 would be rough, dude. If AMC comes back and hunts this 1350, you're breaking this uptrend that you've had recently. Oh man, I would really hate to see that happen. That would be very bad. Because if you then do that. So like this is kind of what it would look like. You would continue to just get pummeled down here. You come back and retest this 1480-ish kind of thing. I mean, I can't really see how that would translate to you continuing higher after that. I mean, that'd be pretty brutal. It would all depend on volume at that stage. Like when you retest this uptrend here, you really would have to find support at this 707 1488 level. Like you would I mean, you would really have to find support there. So that's what I would say. If you did not find support there, I would make the assertion that you're pretty likely to go back and test $10-ish. So you definitely don't want to do that. So yeah, but I still am, like, generally speaking, I'm not calling for that. I think that the most likely scenario is that you find support somewhere around here. Maybe you kind of have a swooping consolidation or something. You really want to gap up, like I said, to this $21. But like, I do think that like you could gap up here, maybe swing back up here. I mean, in a terrible world, you come back down to $16. Work your way back to this uptrend with uptrend with accumulation type of look, and then you could continue to your upside. So that's kind of how I see it. That's pretty much AMC. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash a like. Comment your thoughts down below. Tell me how much of a shill I am. I think Bitcoin is continuing its move right now. So by the time you see this video, it might be too late. No, you're still at the bottom of the channel. What the? Oh, it just like had a crazy move up to 21.7 again. I think I'm gonna lock in at 21.8 on this, and then have my stop below 21.6. That's probably what I'm gonna do. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and until next time, peace.